All right, so I kind of wanted to make a follow-up guide on my Ganora's Axe Arc Strider build. I'm gonna essentially go in depth and cover the aspects I run, the fragments I run, the perks I run on my primary, energy, and heavy weapons, and the armor mods and stats that I prioritize. So to start off, when I run Arc Strider, I pair it with the Liar's Handshake Hunter Exotic. It has a perk called Cross Counter, and it gives me health and deals extra damage when I receive a melee kill or punch someone twice with my melee ability. You do not have to have a charged melee ability for the Liar's Handshake to work. Now, with Arc Strider, I runs Marksman's Dodge, which is the dodge that reloads my weapon because I have a really low magazine on my Criminal's Dagger, and I also find it convenient when I have to reload my shotgun in a pinch. I noticed that when I do run Gambler's Dodge, I don't necessarily need the melee ability because you have to be up close to use your charged melee attack. A lot of times you'll have it as it passively regenerates, and you don't necessarily need to get back to back charge melee punches on targets, especially when you have cross counter active. It kind of gets redundant. I have seen clips where people take advantage of Gambler's Dodge and just get rapid kills back to back in groups, but a lot of times I'm able to do that anyway without it. But it does open up kind of like an infinite dodge melee kill combo if you pair it with combination blow, but I normally will use Gambler's Dodge and combination blow in PvE, but not necessarily PvP. I prioritize the disorienting blow, having their radar removed and their screen disoriented, and not necessarily needing a Gambler's Dodge to get another one. I do run lightning nades. I've gotten good enough with them to where I can move people out of cover, zone off areas. I think a lot of the other arc grenades are relatively weak without an exotic that enhances them. So I stick with lightning nades. I feel more comfortable with them. But I say use the grenades you're most comfortable with or have the most experience with. Don't just go off of what I run with the grenades. Different grenades are good for different situations. I would avoid skip nades without an exotic. But aside from that, you can probably use any grenade to put damage onto targets. Skip nades are kind of hit or miss. The aspects I run are flow state. Defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. This build isn't based around getting amplified. It's nice when it does happen, especially with the reload bonus. I like that. And then I also run Lethal Current, which is essential to this build. The Liar's Handshake does not proc on Tempest Strike, the one where you slide and do your uppercut. It does not proc the Liar's Handshake. You still can make use of that, but it does not synergize with the exotic that I run, so I do not use that. I do run Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. It gives plus 10 resilience. This is useful for shutting down defensive supers. So getting like a Ganora's Axe headshot on someone with a bubble, when they punch you, you can actually kill them out of their bubble, things like that. It's also good for killing supers if you're able to get up close and melee them twice. I run Spark of Brilliance for the plus 10 intellect. I don't necessarily defeat the blinded targets with precision damage. It doesn't really come up that often. This does happen often. Spark of Instinct. While critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. It does come up a lot. Anytime your shields get popped, you're going to release sparks from your character model. It throws people off. A lot of times I'll dodge when that happens. So it looks like there's more going on their screen, and maybe it distracts them a bit, gives you a chance to escape. So I actually do like this, and it will jolt people around you. Very rarely will you get a kill with the ability, but they are jolted. So if you are able to follow up and get like a melee kill or an arc kill with the kill with your special arc weapon, you'll be able to become amplified. So it just more opportunities to become amplified, but it also puts feedback on their screen when they damage your shields, and people don't really expect it. Gives you a chance to get away. It's one of the few things that actually are visible. One of the few arc fragments that are visible. And then this one, after sprinting for a short time, your class ability regen is increased. It actually is pretty useful. I think it's about a 20-second difference when I tested it, 20 to 22 seconds, where you'll get your dodge back quicker if you were just to run around. And over the course of a match, it does add up. So I do run that. And I'm able to hit my 40 mobility threshold with the penalty of 10 mobility with it. And I will go into why that is valuable here now. So on my Arc Hunter build, I intentionally run tier 4 mobility. And it helps me take advantage of the Arc Hunter blink jump. And essentially, when you jump, you're able to cover more distance with 2 consecutive blink jumps than you were able to if you were to run like a tier 10 mobility, because the second jump will activate mid-air and it will short stop. And I'll give an example of this. So here I have like a PvE setup where I have tier 10 mobility, and if you were to blink back to black, it short stops on that second jump. Right there, you saw it didn't cover as much distance as it did with the first jump because it's real floaty because of the increased jump height from having tier 10 mobility. And it short stops on the second jump because it activates in mid-air. Another example of it. But if you were to switch back to tier 4 mobility, you could jump back to back and spam the jump button without having to worry about short stopping. So that's why I run tier 4 mobility. I tested 5 and it was kind of hit or miss. But it's just nice not having to worry about you short stopping when you're running away from like a super or another guardian or trying to get your health back in a pinch. And obviously this is level ground, but it can still happen where you short stop if you like blink over unlevel ground and it activates in midair as so. But you know, as you use it more, get more experience with it, you'll figure out how to get the most out of your blinks. So you still can run blink with higher than tier 4 mobility, but just beware, you will most likely short stop more often if you're rapidly spamming the jump button. So just be mindful of that when you're picking on a mobility to end at for an in-game PvP build. So in terms of the weapons themselves, I run the Crucible's Dagger hand cannon. This is a Sunset Legacy version, and I did hold on to it, and it ended up being a really good option for me. I use a 120 when I run the Gnor's Axe because it opens up kill combos. But essentially I run kill clip with it so I can get like a body shot with the Gnor's Axe, and then switch to the Crucible's Dagger, and then follow up with a body shot 120 hand cannon kill and get kill clip off that. It allows me to 2-tap and hit 100 damage to the head, so you can 2-tap most guardians. I believe 10 resilience will tank the 2-tap. They'll have 1 health, but you will kill 9 resilience and under in 2 shots. Now I also run it with Outlaw. This is like a max reload speed build. In terms of the perks that rolled on it. And then I have quick access sling, so I can swap to and from my shotgun really quick. So body shot, 120 body. Or body shot with the 120, pull out the Gnor's. And you can see how quickly it reloads without Outlaw. This is without Outlaw. So, pretty good. Serves its purpose. Now, drop mag did get retired, so you cannot get a Crucible's Dagger with drop mag anymore. If you played during Season of the Arrivals, you could get flared magwell. You can get flared magwell in place of it. But aside from that, another good option if you're looking for a 120 would be the round robin. Similar build. It has keep away instead of outlaw. You can have flare of magwell and do like a reload speed. Same concept. You'll have kill clip. It's just not going to be as fast as the Kermeals, as you'll see here. But it'll serve its same purpose. So if you want an option that you could use in trials that isn't sunset, just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to the Gnora's Axe itself, these are the perks that I have it rolled with. So I have max range and opening shot slick draw. So with slick draw, significantly increases the handling, which gives it 100 handling, but significantly decreases the target acquisition. Now, before this was unusable, and you would not be able to line up a headshot, and even if you did, it would blank because the penalty was so drastic. But they buffed slick draw by like 1/3, so now it is usable in gunfights, especially when you pair it with the opening shot perk. Now, with opening shot, it's arguably the best in slot perk for a PvP slug shotgun because it gives plus 25 range. Even though I don't make use of the range bonus here, it also gives you increased accuracy. So basically my range is at 100 on my first shot. Then I have the accuracy bonus on top of that, and it does help offset the slick draw target acquisition penalty. But again, you aren't necessarily trying to only go for headshots. The goal is to get a body shot with the Gnoras, and then clean up with a body shot from the Kermeal's Dagger, 120 primary, or vice versa, get a body shot with the primary, then another body shot with the Gnora's Axe. You don't necessarily have to line up a headshot to do that. And I think that's the best way to take advantage of the slick draw perk. Another option in this first column would be hip fire grip. I have one with it, and it does extremely well. Don't have it equipped as of right now, but it looks something like this, where you'll have Iron Reach max range or opening shot, and then a hip fire grip in the second column. And then when I do run that, I also pair it with free hand grip so it stacks. So the texture is a good option, but I wasn't able to really make use of it like I could with hip fire grip, to where it started affecting the outcomes of gunfights. So threat detector is a good option. You get the increased handling, increased reload speed. Stability is not really that relevant. And obviously, most of your kills are going to be when enemies in close proximity, so it is there. But I think there's more value in the hip shot accuracy than the swap speed from slick draw. And then for my heavy, I went to Reed's Regret. I could do a whole separate video on this, but they retired this quick draw perk. I ended up getting one while quick draw was still in the loot pool for it. I think right now you could get surplus in this spot, but Harmony and Liquid Coils will one-hit body shot kill after you get like a Gnora's Axe kill or kill with your 120 hand cannon. So you end up getting 5 linear fusion shots that can all body shot kill after you get a kill with either your primary or special weapon. So it's almost like a golden gun in a way, where you have 5 shots with it. So I do run that as my heavy ammo slot. It's worked well for me. There are some times where you have to backpedal from some fights, but once you get it going, you could definitely affect the match if you were to make every single kill a body shot with it. The only difference between an adept and a non-adept one is most people are going to run adept charge time just to get their shot to activate a bit quicker. I do have one with accelerated coils, but it cannot body shot with Harmony up to a certain resilience. Like most people will tank the body shot. So that's the weapons that I run, and then we'll get into the armor mods. Now, one thing I want to cover with the armor mods is this is a new mod that I haven't seen covered too much. It's called Powerful Attraction, but it automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And essentially, you don't have to be right next to an orb or on top of it to pick it up. You can dodge and pick it up at a distance. I think it's like, I want to say about 10 to 12 meters. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and jump to some of the kill combos with this build. All right. So for this Ganora's Axe showcase, Rowan volunteered to test some of the kill combos with me. So essentially, there's 5 ways we can get orbs for ourselves. So one is we can get a double kill with an arc weapon final blow. So just 2 back-to-back final blows with a Ganora's Axe or a fusion. You'll be able to make orbs for yourself, lay one on the ground at the spot you killed your opponent. The next is getting a powered melee final blow. The other one is going to be using your class ability, so your hunter dodge in this case, and then getting a final blow with your next weapon. And it has to be kind of rapid back to back. We can obviously make orbs when we're roaming around with our super, and we can also pick up orbs that our teammates make. So essentially, when we pick up an orb, I'm taking advantage of the recuperation leg armor mod that replenishes health when we pick up an orb, and better already. So our health begins to regenerate when we pick up an orb of power. I run them both together because if we just run recuperation and we pick up an orb, it's not gonna give us a bump of health that replenishes it up to 100. And also with better already, it regens slower without the recuperation health bump. So running these both together give your health regen. It just makes it more convenient. And then I also run 2 Font of Endurance mods. If you run Run, it's going to give you 30 resilience when you pick up an Orb of Power. And then if you run 2, it gives diminishing returns, so it adds an extra 20 resilience. Running both of them will give plus 50 resilience when you pick up an Orb of Power. So when I pick up an Orb, I'm already at tier 5. I have tier 10 intellect essentially when I pick up an Orb of Power, so I take advantage of that. So when it comes to the kill combos, with the Ganora's Axe, I run it with the 120 hand cannon. The Ganora's Axe does 151 to the body, and then if you follow up with a hand cannon shot, it'll do an extra 50. So you can do cheeky things like you can shotgun with the Ganora's Axe, hit the body, then backpedal, and then hit either a body shot or, in that case, I hit a headshot with the 120 hand cannon and it'll kill. Or what the most common kill combo you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna tag someone with a hand cannon. So I tag Rowan for 50 to the body, and then you could chase them down with the Ganoras because you know it's the body shot will kill afterwards. So if I see Rowan here, I hit him 50 to the body, chase him around, 151. So those are the weapon kill combos. Now with this build, you can also take advantage of the lethal current aspect. So essentially, after dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, jolts the target, and most importantly, creates a damaging aftershock. And that opens up some kill combos like a 120 hand cannon body shot, a dodge melee, and you'll know you'll get the kill. So again, similar concept with the Ganoras, but this will also make a Orb of Power. And when it comes to the Orbs of Power that we generate, you don't want to pick it up willy-nilly. So what you can do is, if you know an Orbs of Power is nearby and Rowan shoots me, so let's say he gets my health low, you can run into cover, dodge near the Orb of Power, and start your health regen. So now I have cover, I'm full health, and I'm also 10 resilience. So now I can take this gunfight with an advantage, and I know that if you put damage into him, you're going to have more health. So again, all of these play into a gunfight where you have tier 10 resilience, you already have 100 recuv, and then you just take advantage of that throughout the course of a gunfight. Now, also, when it comes to the Liar's Handshake exotic, this is the exotic armor priest-free run, there's a perk called Cross Counter. So when we use an arc melee ability, or we're hit by a melee attack, we'll be able to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that heals us. So essentially, if Rowan punches me, and I punch him back, it's going to one-hit melee kill him. And the cross counter perk, I believe, lasts 3 seconds. You include the double zeros. Now, I just want you to be aware there is a bug right now where if we run the Gathering Storm Arc Spear, there's a bug where it will not proc when you receive a melee hit. So if Rowan were to punch me and I punch him back, it will not work on Gathering Storm. Now, it will still proc if you melee him twice, but if you receive a melee punch, it will not activate. So until Bungie fixes that, I'm going to be sticking with Arc Staff. So that kind of covers the kill combos with this build. Again, the big thing you're going to be doing mostly is going to be body shot tagging people and then chasing them down with the Gnors. But you also need to be wary of the ways you can make orbs. So getting 2 rapid Gnor's axe kills, dodging, and then getting a kill after dodging, and then getting a charged melee kill. So those will be the ways you make orbs for yourself. Mostly you can pick up orbs from the ground that your teammates make, or you can make orbs when you super. And also, if you make an orb and you super, you can do your best to try not to pick it up and just leave it there for when your super runs out, and take advantage of that too. Those are just tips of the kill combos and way to take advantage of orb generation. So for the closing thoughts, some of the stats I prioritize on this build is, as you saw before, tier 4 mobility. So that helps me get the most out of my blink jumps. I run tier 5 resilience, and then it jumps to tier 10 resilience when I pick up an orb of power. I do prioritize 100 recovery, so that way I could combine the 10 resilience I get for picking up an orb of power and then being able to recover my health and shields quicker when I do pick up the orb of power. Because again, this recovery bonus just increases how well recuperation works, and better already works. So all those elements stack on top of each other to create a larger benefit when you do pick up an orb. I'm sure there's some people that could probably get more discipline out of this build. I don't have this build centered around the lightning nade, so if I had to pick a stat that I did neglect, in this case it would be discipline. But I'm sure there's people with better armor rolls than I have, and they could probably get more out of that. And then I used to run 70 intellect, but I got a lot more value in Trials of Osiris when I'd run tier 10 intellect. Essentially, I'd run into scenarios where people would get like a Well of Radiance or Bubble from a Titan before I could get like my Arc Staff or Arc Spear even. And I pretty much had to run tier 10 intellect to affect the match. So you could probably get away with 8 or 9, but I'm just going to max out the stat because I see how much value the stat has compared to the others in terms of the content I play. And then I'm able to run tier 4 strength. Again, you could probably get more, but I do not think it's needed. If I had to choose between having more strength on my build or more discipline, I would like to increase my discipline, because I think I'm normally waiting on my grenade, but normally I have my melee ability already, and I'm just running around the map looking for situations where I can use it. So I'd prioritize discipline over strength, but in terms of the intellect and recovery and resilience and mobility, I think this is probably the stats that I would want on my armor. Now, closing thoughts. So in terms of Destiny 2 PvP, I think we're kind of getting into where they're not gonna make too many changes to your armor and ability builds themselves. I think there'll be a lot of weapon tunings. I'd be surprised if they nerf this build before they nerf Antaeus wards. But you know, if you're someone who's looking for that Titan power fantasy of being me Titan, me strong, I'm invincible when I slide around with Antaeus wards, this probably isn't going to be the build for you. But if you want something more nuanced, more niche, effective in close quarters combat, with the exception of becoming invincible like you can with Antaeus wards, I think this is the build for you. And I'd be surprised if they nerf this before they nerf the Titan Antaeus ward build. So I think this build should stand the test of time. You know, never say never. But if any changes are made, I'll update it. But if they nerf it into the ground, then I'll just switch to like Gustasis or Strand Hunter at that point. But I've had fun with this. I don't think it's the best build in the game, but it is a very lethal Arc Strider build when used in the right hands. And it offers some playmaking potential in close quarters combat and kind of offsets the charge time that you have to worry about with either a fusion, and it also complements a build like a Gnora's Axe where you rely on kill combos. So I got a lot of value out of it. So hopefully you learn something or can at least try it. I never like funneling someone into one specific build. I'm sure you could improve on this, but this is just the build that I had the most value out of at in-game PvP. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll probably showcase some more gameplay, but if you want to see what's happening under the hood while that gameplay is happening or a stream is happening, you probably would get more value out of this video, because all these happen over the course of either a Rumble match or a Trials match that you really can't stop and explain while it's happening. So thank you for your time.